Welcome to the Inter Miami versus PSG round of 16 Club World Cup game. This is honestly win or go home, right? This is a huge game, biggest game in Inter Miami history, and they're playing the defending champions of Europe. Tall task today, should be interesting one way or the other. I'm excited for this game. I've been excited all week just to see what happens. I've been a little nervous, obviously, because this could be the end of the MLS run in the Club World Cup, but they may be able to do the unthinkable and pull off the upset. We will see what happens, but it's going to be a huge game. Nico says, God save the GOAT. Mister says, hi, Will. Keegan says, Inter Miami hate watch. Let's get it. Guys, if you haven't already, make sure you like the stream down below, subscribe to the channel, share the stream with a friend. Let's grow it as much as we can. This is the biggest game. Honestly, this could be the biggest game in MLS history just because of the magnitude of the tournament, who they're playing. There has never been an MLS team play a European opponent with stakes this high. And if Inter Miami are able to do the unthinkable and knock off PSG, imagine what kind of ripple effect this will have throughout the world, how big of a deal this will be for Major League Soccer to be able to do this. And in a second, I want to get your guys' predictions for the score of this game. But I think that Inter Miami might be able to do it. Listen, they might be able to do the unthinkable. Mister says this will be a tough one. Upsets are always possible. But I'd be surprised if this isn't at least 2-0 PSG. Cringe says, hey, Will, appreciate you for stopping by, Cringe. Both of these guys are members of the channel, which I appreciate. MNB says, tough game for Inter Miami if PSG even get out of second gear. Okay, let's see. Danny Bro says, that will be the biggest upset in football history. Okay, I want your score predictions. I want you guys to let me know who you think's going to win, what the score line's going to be, and who is going to be the deciding factor in this game. Either way. Who is going to be the deciding factor either way in this match? Angus says, good morning, Will. I'm very interested in this match. If Miami wins, this might be a major springboard. If Inter Miami wins this, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to lose my mind. I've got 40 ounces of water right here. I'm going to try to stay as hydrated as I can, not lose my voice. But if Inter Miami win this game, all bets are off. All bets are off if Inter Miami wins this game. All bets are off. Andrew says he's got PSG 4-1. All right. So I'll give you my breakdown what I think is going to happen because we have 10 minutes until the game starts. I think Inter Miami have a chance if they play like they did against Palmeiras early in this game. Palmeiras is obviously a good team. They were able to score 2-0 against them, looked really good in the first half and half of the second half. And then the wheels really fell off in the 80th minute just because Palmeiras has depth that Inter Miami does not have. Inter Miami starting 11 is decent. It's pretty good. And when I say decent, I'm talking about on the global stage. I'm not talking about for MLS standards. I'm talking about the global stage. Inter Miami starting 11 is pretty solid. But the problem is when their guys get gassed, they don't have anybody off the bench who can replicate the same quality or keep that standard up. They just don't have the guys. So they're going to have to score some goals today, like obviously, right? But I mean, like they're going to have to score probably 2 goals and just hope to God they can hold on. Honestly, the best case scenario would be for this to go to penalties. I think that would be the best case scenario for Inter Miami in this match. But, okay, so score prediction time. I think that this game is going to be 2-2, and I think it's going to go to penalties, and PSG are going to win 5-3 on penalties. 5-3 on penalties. So, yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, 5-3 on penalties. I think that's what's going to happen in this game. I think Messi is going to have the best game of his Inter Miami career today. This is the biggest game he has played in his Inter Miami career, and it's today. Now, Doué definitely scares the hell out of me because outside of Lamine Yamal, he's probably the best prospect player in the world right now, arguably. I don't know if Inter Miami can stop him, but I want to point out Seattle don't nearly have the same attacking talent that Inter Miami does. Don't nearly have the same attacking talent, and they only lost 2-0. If they had some attacking talent or a Messi, who knows what could have happened? They don't have that in Seattle. And then Botafogo beat PSG. Now, PSG did smack Atletico Madrid, but there's one game where they rolled the team, a really good team, and there's 2 games where they really didn't look that good. And the game that they looked good was the first game of the entire tournament. The last 2 games, they have not looked very good. And they also had to travel from Seattle, Washington, all the way to Atlanta, Georgia. It's a long distance, guys. It's a very long distance, like 2,500, 2,600 miles. So they had to travel a lot further than Miami did on a shorter week. So who knows? Who knows? Anything can happen. Mr. brought up a point earlier in the stream. He said one-offs, if I'm not mistaken, you never know. Anything can happen. One-off games. So it's going to be interesting to find out. I'm very excited. And look, if you're just now joining the chat, make sure you like the stream down below. Let's try to get to 50 likes before halftime. You know, that's always the goal, 50 likes before halftime. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. And before this game starts, guys, if you haven't told me already, let me know who you think is going to win this game and give me your score. Who is going to win between Inter Miami and PSG? What is your score prediction for the match? Let's see. Got a couple comments to catch up on. Keyshawn says, I hope we get an early goal. I do too. Cringe says, we have to remember, Seattle only lost 2-0, and PSG played 10 out of the 11 players that won the Champions League. All the videos I've watched are making PSG as unbeatable, even though they lost to Botafogo. I agree. Alan Pereira says, Flamengo, hopefully they can do the unthinkable and beat Bayern Munich today. That'd be incredible. TL says, Bayern Munich 5-1. Hopefully not. Isaac says, La Tortuga masterclass incoming. Keyshawn says, Miami needs to hope for a weather delay like Benfica, so you got to throw them off, right? Cringe says, this is Argentina versus France all over again. Well, if that's the case, is Messi going to get lucky? Is he going to have luck on his side again? Or is luck going to be on PSG's side? TL says, I also think it will be 4-1 PSG. Suárez scores for Inter Miami. Hopefully it's not 4-1. Mister says, Miami have nothing to lose here. Even if they get obliterated, they've made it to the knockout stage. They did. And you know what? There are 9 teams from UEFA left, 7 from the rest around the world. Inter Miami is one of 16 teams left in this tournament. And that is a feat in itself, especially because their group stage was not a guarantee. Cringe says Wingate is going to get cooked. He might get cooked. Snail says, man, this game has more hype than Champions League final. This game is, guys, another thing too, we haven't even touched on this. What about the Messi revenge game? This is Messi's former team, which isn't that weird to say when you think of Messi and former teams, you think of Barcelona. You don't even, PSG seems like a fever dream, honestly. But this is his former club that he does not like. He does not like PSG. He had a terrible time at PSG. He could not wait to get out of PSG. I think he has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, right? Which is funny to think when you're talking about Lionel Messi, best player of all time. But I think he has a chip on his shoulder, and he wants to prove that he can beat his former team that made his life a living hell. I believe that. I believe he is very motivated right now. Very motivated. So I'll be interested. That's why I said I think he will have the best game of his Inter Miami career today. I believe that. He's going to have the best game of his Inter Miami career today. MNB says PSG will be a bit sloppy because they won't be fully engaged, but still too far ahead technically. 2-0, 3-1. Andrew says, wait, I forget this is all rigged and dumb, so somehow Miami goes through. Oh man, stop. Eric says Miami needs a defensive masterclass. They do. They need to play like they did against Palmeiras in the first half. They have to play like they did against Palmeiras in the first half and the first half of the second half. They do that, anything can happen. TL says Botafogo beat PSG because they could defend very well and were underestimated. None of that is true for Miami. Well, even though Messi is on the other team, Miami, I think PSG is still going to underestimate them because they think they're superior. It's the elitism we talk about with European clubs. Cringe says, Will, another key issue is the U.S. pitches aren't great. The balls move slower, which will slow up PSG's game. It will, and I think that could affect it as well. I definitely think that that could be a deciding factor and could prevent this game from getting out of hand. Cringe says 2-1 Miami. Miami gets the second in the second extra time half. Ooh, that'd be crazy. Alan says, Arubu vai comer carnica. I don't know what that means, but Mr. Does Flamengo have a real chance of beating Bayern? Look, if Flamengo beats Bayern, that would be okay. If that happens today, I will believe officially that a South American team can win it all because Bayern is as good as anyone else. They're as good as any other club. If they can beat Bayern, anything could happen. Anything can happen. Keegan says PSG going to smack Miami. It's not even going to be close. Well, we'll see. Eric says PSG booed him. Messi, yeah. Keegan says Messi might get one at most. Listen, Messi is going to be motivated. He is going to want to prove his team wrong. His old team that he believes not necessarily did him dirty, but like just made his life a living hell. Like there was even a fan had spit on his wife, which is wild, honestly, absolutely crazy to think about. But I think Messi's very motivated to beat his former club. Keegan says he has Nuno Mendes on him. Jellyfish Potter says the scenes if Miami beat a European champions with a last minute Messi free kick. Oh man, there'll be an utter collapse if that happens. Pumas fan says if PSG loses here, I think this will show that Europe is even worse than we thought. If PSG loses to Miami, I'm telling you, like I said, the theme of the show, all bets are off. Level 0 says, I'm a Flamengo fan and cheer for Miami, pass and face each other. Maybe they will. I hope Flamengo beats Bayern Munich today. I really do. Jellyfish says European. Yeah, I got you. Your typo. K-Plum says, come on, UEFA, let's squash the MLS. Man, why are you coming in here hating? Why are you coming in here starring stuff? TL says, it won't. Puma says, I think Flamengo will beat Bayern Munich. I think they could. I like Flamengo. You know, listen, I'm up for grabs. I'm thinking about supporting a Brazilian club. I'm up for grabs. I'm trying to think of which team maybe I would want to support. You know, not to be a bandwagon fan, but, you know, like I'm kind of stuck between a couple clubs. You know, Flamengo is very enticing. By the way, game's about to kick off, guys. Inter Miami versus PSG. Here it is. Uh-oh. Here we go. Let's see what happens. Is it going to be heartbreak or upset? One of the two. Let's see what happens. Pumas fans, I think Monterrey beat Dortmund. I think they could. I think it'll be a good game. Oscar says the surprise of this game, Jordi Alba has been saving it up for this moment, is a defensive masterclass at hand. Maybe. Doué scares me. Oh, okay. What was that?
Magenta shirts, and it is the navy blue.
Kenny says, good morning, just woke up. Yeah, this is an early game, especially if you're on the West Coast. Noon Eastern time, 9 o'clock Pacific time. You know, 5, 6, 7 o'clock in Europe. Early game. It's a very early game for the Club World Cup. By the way, another thing to keep an eye on, Noah Allen starting at center back. He had been playing left back for Jordi Alba. Bro, seriously, I don't know what that kickoff was. I don't know what they were doing. By the way, I was talking to a friend the other day. Marquinhos. Is Marquinhos cooked? Is he done? Is he still a top 5 center back in the world? Marquinhos. I mean, they just won the Champions League for the first time. He's been their best center back for several years now since Thiago Silva left. I mean, I think he had a great season. Here's another thing to keep an eye on, guys. Inter Miami, if you have not watched them, are a very slow team. Very slow team. So PSG's fast. Can they keep up with them? By the way, we got 40 of you in the chat. We're at 15 likes, guys. You know that the goal is always to hit 50 before the halftime. We've got 44 minutes, 15 likes. Make sure you smash the like button down below. Let's get to 50. Also, subscribe if you haven't already. We're going to have a post game after this one way or another. Either going to be the best game in history of MLS or it might be the biggest heartbreak. But I'm excited to find out. Also, hit the little bell notification so you never miss any of these live streams or post game videos. Here it is, 6 o'clock, 6:01. TL says they always do it. Cute Kenny says, I wouldn't be surprised if the refs help Miami. Terminate says PSG does that for the high presses, I believe, usually for deep throws. Angus says, I never have seen a kickoff like that. I've been watching matches since the mid-'80s. Come on, Messi. We need your best game of your career, man. Tadio Yande, too. He's going to have to finish these chances. He had a beautiful finish against Palmeiras, but he's going to have to be more consistent. La Tortuga is running. Oh, no.
Now look to stretch Miami early, quickly, and they passed Alba as well, and down to this right side with...
Keegan says, yes. Let's see. It is 4 right now for me. K Plum says, hey, no name. I'm in Switzerland, too. Nice. 2 people from Switzerland. That's awesome. Very glad for you guys to join us. MNB says, what stadium is this? This is Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. It's a pretty big stadium. Most MLS teams only play in like a 20 to 25,000 seat capacity stadium. This stadium holds like 7. It's an NFL stadium. It's where the Falcons play, and Atlanta. The soccer team also plays there too, Atlanta United. But the seating capacity is like 70,000. So it will probably be halfway filled, I would say. Oh, no. Oh, good save, Ostari. Good save by Ostari. Very good save by Ostari. Yogo says, I'm really surprised that the starting 11 for Inter doesn't have a single American player. Well, they technically do. It's Noah Allen, but he's playing for Greece's U20 team. But he was born in America, so he's an American. Oh, wing get fire. Foul Doué. Angus says the highest attendance in MLS is in Atlanta. Well, it has been historically, but it's been down the last couple of years just because they've been so bad. You know, they've been terrible. Keyshawn says, I hope it's not a blowout. God, I'm a little nervous, but that was a great save. Sorry. Inter Miami just are so slow, and they look like they're kind of sleeping a little bit right now. Remember what I said, key to this game. Messi has to have the best game of his Inter Miami career today if they want to have any chance of winning this match. Dank British Americans living in Canton. If PSG score first, it's not good. Obviously, it's really not good.
5 minutes on the clock in Atlanta.
Was he offside?
And that is the start that Miami will have feared.
Good God, that was terrible marking. João Neves scores for PSG. Was he offside though? Let me watch the replay on that. Let's see. No, he was onside. God, who the hell's Noah Allen wasn't even marking him. Who's marking him? Yeah, he was onside. That was just terrible marking by Inter Miami. Jesus. What the hell was that? Hey, guys, if you have never watched Major League Soccer, MLS defending on full display. MLS defending on full display on that goal.
Concentration was so important. And an early lapse from Miami, an early goal for PSG.
They're gonna have to respond.
Champions League final where they blew into Milan away.
Defense has got to mark their guys. They have got to mark.
Now the task that Miami must try
Nobody was marking him. Michael says Miami is cooked. Jellyfish says Falcone ball watching. Noah Allen was too. Noah Allen was closer to him than Maxi Falcone. TL says, well, that was fun while it lasted. Only 6 minutes. Yeah. Jaden the Man says terrible marking. No, that Suárez keeping the line on side. But it was bad marking too. Nobody was even watching him. They were watching number 8. They weren't even watching him. Nobody was marking him. Nobody had an eye on him. He was just left wide open. Veg says 10-0 incoming. Could be. Cringe, damn, 6 minutes in. Butterdog says nobody saw Miami winning this. I mean, it was a tall task, but damn, nobody thought they were going to be down 1-0 6 minutes in. Angus says agree. Most MLS teams need to ramp up their defense. Here's the thing, though. MLS likes bad defenses, though, because it helps. They like poor defending because it means more goals. They like poor defending in Major League Soccer. They love it. More goals, they think, is better ratings. Shouldn't be like that, though. You know, goals should be earned, not given. So PSG just looks so much more comfortable than Inter Miami. They just look so much more comfortable. Of course, you would expect that, right? I mean, look at the way they're just pinging it around. Oh no! Oh no! Okay, good clearance by Maxi Falcone. They just have no guys. They have no speed. Inter Miami have no speed at all. They have no speed. Didn't go out of bounds right there. Just no speed whatsoever. No Name says, Craze Amnesty removed the disgusting before. I don't know what you're talking about. Let's see. No Name keep crying. What was he? I guess I missed what he said. Don't ever disrespect Europe again. Bro, listen. Flamenco's about to beat Bayern Munich. I don't want to hear it. The match is rigged, Don Copa says. Or Capo. TL says, wow, really bad defending just means bad attackers. The prediction is by how many goals PSG will score. We'll have to see. Angus says, I have a love-hate relationship with MLS. Bad defense, but it is so unpredictable. Yeah, but it just the defense is so bad. Like, look at this open space. Look at these pockets of space. They're just able to just they're open. PSG. And they're moving the ball so fluidly, so fast. Inter Miami don't even have time to react. What is even the possession right now? It's got to be like, the possession has to be like, let me refresh this real quick, guys. There we go. TL says, come on, man. Let's talk about the game. Diogo says, there's a problem in that far post marking in the left side of Inter. There is. MNB says, MLS owners should be investing more. Hopefully they will be embarrassed. Yeah, but here's the thing. Don Garber does not look at it like that. He will look at it as Inter Miami made it to the group of 16 or the round of 16. So that's a huge win for the league and that everything's good. The plan's working and, you know, don't change anything. The plan is good. Keep trusting the plan. That's obviously wrong, though. But Michael says Fafa has speed, just never starts. I'm not watching the game, so I haven't seen the lineup yet. It's the same lineup except Jordi Alba's in. Noah Allen's playing center back instead of Toto Alvarez. And it's pretty much the same as it's been. No crazy changes. But Fafa Picault is fast. He doesn't have any technical ability. He can't score. He's just speed. Inter Miami, Mr. says Miami looks scared, depressed. They do. They look scared and they just look very... Inter Miami just look very intimidated. That's the best way I could describe it. They look very intimidated. Like they don't know what to do. They look very, very intimidated. But I will say this. PSG look like they're actually trying. They look like they're not cutting. They're not holding back in this game. Don Capo says, why can't MLS just raise the cap to 20 million? They could have $1 million player filling each roster position. 20 million is chump change for these people. The 3, I think you mean DP spots, remain the same. Yeah, I mean, they've had 3 DP spots for each team for, last 14 years. QK says, PSG definitely want revenge for France. I think they just want revenge for people talking negatively about them, saying that they're not really good and that they are overrated or frauds or they have something to prove today. Don Capo says, would raise the floor and talent in the league. I agree. Diogo says possession has been 86-14 for PSG. Think about that. 86-14 for PSG. That's insane. That is insane. Francisco says fast as in speed and fast thinking. Are you talking about, you're talking about, yes, PSG. Yes, they're just playing like, it honestly seems mindless. Like it's like nature or instinctual. PSG is doing a very good job at eliminating Messi, which this is the trend. This is what we've seen in the Club World Cup. God, Noah Allen just looks shook. He just looks completely shook. But that's been the trend in the Club World Cup is that teams have been eliminating Messi. 2 or 3 guys collapse on him, try to force an error or turnover. And they think that that's the way to beat Inter Miami. Take Messi away, everything else falls apart. Oh, Suárez, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? Creighton says we need to keep the score at 1-0 going into the half. Honestly, increasing DPs to 5 per team will help. Yes, it would help significantly. It'd be a huge, huge win for the league. Huge win for the league. Look at Scobia. He's not. This João Neves is just killing us. You see this? Begotten says people need to understand that it's not just about being fast, strong, etc. You need a football IQ. Traits like speed, strength are great, but are worthless without football IQ. No, I agree. But, Inter Miami definitely have some people on the team with a high football IQ. No Name says DPs and any form of salary cap should be removed. That's the only solution for MLS. I don't think that's the only solution. I think they could still be a great league even with those things. They just have to increase it. Has to be more than what it currently is. Jonathan says, I doubt the Champions League winner give a rat's of what Twitter heads have to say. Probably. What was that touch by Suárez? Guys, we're at 61 people in the chat. Our goal is to hit 50 likes before halftime. We got 30 minutes left. We got 19 likes. We have 19 likes, so make sure you like down below. If you haven't already, smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're also trying to hit 8K subs before the Club World Cup ends. We're at 450 subscribers until we hit 8K. I think we'll do it. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the little bell notification so you never miss any of my videos. Don Capo says, ideally, increasing the DPs is the best way, but I'll be happy if they just raise the cap. The cap can be raised and the owners can all still make bank. Why not make MLS a top loan destination too? Yeah, I mean, I would love to see more players on loan here, like some quality, talented players who just need minutes. I would love to see them in MLS. I think MLS is a great league to develop and improve your skills and your ability. We've seen a lot of players come here and improve and end up going back to Europe and making a name for himself. Look at Cucho Hernandez. He wasn't very good at Watford. And then he played at, was it Mallorca? There was a Spanish club he played for. He didn't do very well there either. I think it was Mallorca. And he came to MLS for the Crew. He played very well for a couple years. And then, look at him now. I mean, he's playing for Betis. He's looking really good. Butterdog says, what's your score prediction? It was 2-2 going on penalties, but who knows? If Inter Miami haven't even had a shot yet. They haven't even had a serious chance.
Doué slips in, Ruiz Sparkler's in the middle, and
Angus says unified ownership by MLS would help their teams if this method was scrapped. Jellyfish says Messi, Busquets, Suárez all have high football IQs too. They do. Begotten says, what MLS clubs do you think would actually spin if the spending cap was lifted? I mean, Inter Miami, LAFC, LA Galaxy, New York City FC, maybe New York Red Bulls, Chicago Fire, Atlanta United. I mean, there'd be several teams that would spend. Cincinnati. No Allen hurt his hamstring, so Toto Alvarez will likely come in for no Allen. Bobby says, who are the big names linked with a move to Major League Soccer this summer? Thomas Muller was linked. Timo Werner, I mean, I guess, he was a big name at once. I mean, it's been pretty quiet so far, to be honest with you. It's been very quiet. Diogo says, okay, he's talking to someone else. Francisco, they lift the salary cap and will keep bringing mediocre players like Miami has done. You have to develop players. That is true. You do have to develop players, but you also have to have talent in this league to where the young players know how to be a great pro. Mr. says, no Allen defending corners is frightening. He is. And also, too, he just has no aerial ability. He's only 5'9". Okay, Toto Alvarez coming in. Cringe says Suárez is looking terrible, and all these line-breaking passes are a problem. Jonathan Rand says 2-2 going to pins, past the blunt. Yeah. Hey, man, anything can happen. Did you think they would be up 2-0 on Palmeiras? K Plum says winner of this match gets $13.5 million. That's crazy. Noah Allen down. Mr. says, if I was Miami, I'd look at Timo Werner. He can at least move. Well, I think he's going to the New York Red Bulls. I think he's leaving for the Red Bulls. Jaden the Man says, now Noah Allen is out. Is Miami saved? I mean, they could be. He just looked very shook. Look, I'm not the biggest Toto Alvarez fan anymore. I think he's very underwhelming, but I think this would maybe be a net positive for them, having him in the game. And he's got size. He's 6'1". Noah Allen's only 5'9". La Tortuga. He's running for his life. Oh. Is that Alvarez with the foul already, or is that Yande? Let me see. Toto Alvarez already has a yellow card, and he just came in the game. He just came in. Oh, my God. This guy is literally... Dude, Toto Alvarez is literally a yellow card machine. It's insane.
So if they've lost Allen to injury, they've lost Aviles in terms of availability. Well, the journey is to go on. Yeah, but for Aviles, it's the next 70 minutes. Forget about the next match.
Well, now he has to play ultra conservative because he just got a yellow card in like 10 seconds. Begotten says, just to clarify my comment, Fafa is fast, but what else does he do? He doesn't do anything. Keyshawn says, damn, Alvarez. Yeah, embarrassing. Jonathan says, I don't rate Palmeiras, so I wasn't surprised. Palmeiras is good. Keyshawn says, Werner not even going to be good in New York. God, dude, they're playing so scared. Inter Miami just looks so shook.
It was certainly a debate if he's not the best right back in the world. He's up there in the top 3, but the creativity he has with his movement, tireless work rate, no lactic acid whatsoever.
Francisco says, Alvarez, the fastest yellow in the West. Zello says, why was Alvarez on the bench? Probably because they're... Oh, good save, Ostari. Probably because they wanted to... Scared to have him play because he's a yellow card machine. Yeah, Doué was definitely offside. Cringe has already got a yellow. Rando says, no way I predicted it. Angus says, Miami sometimes kicks themselves because of their temper. Cringe says, bro, they're toying with us right now. Francisco says, Miami hasn't crossed the midline with a clear possession. They haven't. Ustari's hurt too. So that would be, if Ustari is out of this game, it's over. See what happened.
You can see the surface underneath his right boot. Watch the way he comes.
Is that a foul on PSG?
He's trying to pull out of any type of challenge on Ustari. That doesn't make
Mr. says you give Alvarez a yellow card and you've taken away 90% of his game. Yeah, aggressive play for sure. Begotten says, yeah, and that's the problem with MLS roster. MLS rosters, you have Messi, Suárez, and Busquets, but then a player like Favi, the decline is insane. But to be fair, Busquets isn't even good anymore. He was good. Keyshawn says Miami needs workhorses around the old guys. They do. They need fast, quality players, not a bunch of young, inexperienced, raw talents or other old guys. Oh my God, that was a terrible giveaway. That was a terrible giveaway, but sorry. What was he thinking? Just boot that thing. Get it out of there. Jellyfishes. I mean, PSG put 4 past as well-respected La Liga team. So even if they ship the same amount Atletico did, it's nothing to be ashamed of. Well, listen, it's a shame. It's one thing to lose when you're playing well, but it's another thing to lose when you're playing bad. Like Inter Miami, if they lose, I can't give them props because they look terrible today. They don't even look like they're trying. They look shook. I mean, look at this.
The ball way out to the left. Met by Doué. Scalia now on the edge of the box to line up the shot, which is just wide.
Just wide. Man.
He's a constant threat on this left-hand side, and as Doué flares out to that left, he pops himself up top of the penalty area, opens up his hips. He's shaping, looking for that far post side net. 4 goals, 2 assists in his last 5 matches.
Francisco says the PSG player slipped and crashed against Ustari. Albie says PSG just toying with Miami. They are. Look at Segovia. I mean, he's just getting collapsed on immediately. And he's slipping. This pitch is this pitch is terrible. Everybody's slipping all over the place. How much water is on this pitch? What did they put on this pitch? Dude, everybody's just slipping and sliding all over the pitch. You guys know a slick surface is an old player's worst nightmare. There you go. Jordi Alba's pressing.
They've gone charging down there with Alba. Instead, they'll switch it. Allende, 3 in the middle.
Oh my God.
Blocked by Mendes and out for
Can't even hold possession. Yeah, they can't. That was the first good look they had all game. 25 minutes in, first good look they had. Rando says, can't believe we are hosting the World Cup here with the weather. I mean, oh my God. Here's another thing too. Inter Miami they're so slow that when you press them to make a quick decision, PSG's pressing them. They have to make a quick decision on the ball. They make errors, which people do. When you have to make a quick decision, you're more likely to make an error. Inter Miami are making several errors because the pressure that PSG is putting on them. Angus says, I believe this pitch is grass laid out on artificial. It is. They brought in grass for this match. MNB says, Messi and Suárez still have the quality, but they need young, energetic quality help. They do. They have no young quality around them at all. Tadio Yande is inconsistent. Telasco Segovia is very inconsistent. Now, please, for the love of God, look at João Neves. Look at him. Nobody's even watching him. He's going to go back post again. Watch this. 87. He's going to go back post again. I guess he's not. But nobody's watching him. That's how they got beat the first time.
That might be his first touch.
I think Favi might join us for the second half. Or not the second half, but the halftime to give us his thoughts on what he thinks.
Possession control.
Actually, a little bit less than what they're averaging in this tournament.
Inter Miami just getting absolutely dominated on possession.
David Ruiz. Gets with the header away. Here's Messi. Who's gonna
Rando says going to be a goal.
hopefully affect the game from a-
Oh, come on.
effectively set Allende off, and Segovia's made a good run inside.
Oh.
It almost came his way.
QK says, I'm happy that I bought myself a USA jersey. Yeah, did you buy one of the new ones? Begotten says Busquets at 10 million is criminal. Get rid of him. Bring in players who can actually keep up. I don't understand why MLS keeps bringing in players like Olivier Giroud. Or actually, sorry, Steven Gerrard. I thought you were talking about Giroud because Giroud just left too. He's almost 40 and he went back to Lille in France. Gerrard, Pirlo, Busquets. Well, they brought in Busquets because they wanted to sign Messi. Some players are just not meant for the league. Keishon says, I'm surprised Rodriguez didn't start. Yeah, Baltasar Rodriguez. That's a good shout. I think Baltasar Rodriguez could be a guy. You saw some speed in the game against Palmeiras. That's a guy that I would bring on in the second half. I would honestly get Talasco Segovia out of there. He's looked terrible in the first half. I'd get him out of there, and I'd bring Baltasar Rodriguez on in the second half. Dude, people are falling over the place. When do you think Patrick Ajimong's out here or something? It's like the fourth dude to fall down. Rando says Seattle looked more comfortable playing against PSG. Well, to be fair, though, they did play them at home. I'm not just saying that they definitely looked good, but they played them at home.
Years now since Lionel Messi last wore the PSG shirt. 3-2 defeat against Clermont Foot.
Listen, it will be bad if Inter Miami look worse than Seattle against PSG. They did play PSG at home. Seattle did. But PSG had to travel from Seattle, Washington, all the way to Atlanta, Georgia. That's like 2,600 miles. Oh, my God.
Messi would be announced, or he would announce, in fact, that he was coming to Major League Soccer here in the U.S.
God, Inter Miami just looks so gassed. 29 minutes in, 1-0 PSG over Inter Miami. And I'll be honest with you guys, PSG looked a lot better in the first 10 minutes. They've slowed down. They still look. Don't get me wrong. They still look a lot better than Inter Miami, but they came out guns blazing, absolutely going for it in the first 10 to 15 minutes. But the problem is Inter Miami still have not had a serious chance yet. They still haven't had a serious chance.
Lots of blue shirts in the Miami penalty area at the moment. Suárez is back there.
Come on, Jordy, just clear that.
This is, of course, not just a PSG reunion for this group. It's a Barcelona reunion.
Francisco says, like a cat playing with a mouse. Chef Steele says, keep telling you this is the best sides. Don't reveal themselves in the group stage. All they are interested in is qualifying with as little effort as possible. I mean, look, they're playing Inter Miami. They're worth like, 950 million euros more than Inter Miami. Oh my God, it's a terrible giveaway by Maxi Falcone. They should be beating him this bad. Let's be honest. They should be beating him. It honestly should probably be like 2-3-0 at the half. If we're talking about quality, versus each team of what each team has, they should be smoking them right now.
Just over the right shoulder of Busquets. Can't get the curl needed.
In the future, I want a USA World Cup 2014 jersey. Yeah, those were pretty nice.
He's coming off his best season with PSG. There's 2 starts and 1 goal.
Here's another thing too. We didn't even talk about the salaries because those were revealed since we talked last. Inter Miami are paying Jordi Alba $6 million a year, which if you're not an MLS fan, that's a lot of money because he's a DP. MLS only gets 3 DPs per team. So Inter Miami is using a DP spot on a left back. That's Marquinhos, dude, get off the ground. Come on, man, get off the ground. But anyway, Jordi Alba can't be making $6 million a year. You got to save that money for an attacker, someone who can score goals. And Jordi Alba's great, but you can't pay a left back $6 million in MLS. It's just not beneficial. It's not beneficial to do that. Diogo says, the funny thing is that Seattle have speed, but not someone who can finish. Place Miami has the quality to finish, but not the speed. Yeah, they just don't have any young guys that are good enough. S27 says Miami never had a chance in this game. Jordan Hill says Miami about to go through it today. Francisco says PSG is a superior team, but PSG are playing well, and Miami should be playing a better game. They are overwhelmed. They are. They're shook.
A lot of respect. Right now, I mean, could it be argued Miami paying too much respect to PSG on the field, or is it ultimately it's the quality?
Andrew says Miami needs to stop trying to build out of the back. It ain't working. It's not. It's actually hurting them, especially when they're getting pressed. Suárez is annoying as hell. Will, your sound is on a bit. Your sound is on a bit. I can hear it. Oh, sorry. Okay, let me turn it down a little bit more. That should be good. I think I should be good now. Begotten says, how many MLS clubs do you think will qualify for the next Club World Cup? Most likely the USA won't host the next tournament. 3 can still qualify. I think it's 4 that can qualify from CONCACAF, but they might expand it, so who knows? I'd say at least like 1 or 2. Jordan Hill says, would it benefit MLS to get rid of the salary cap and transfer to the financial fair play model? Of course it would. Yeah, of course. They'd be able to spend a lot more money, bring in better players, have better quality, better depth. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, good save by Winged. Good save. Whew. Offside, though. Thank God. Whew. Mr. says, let Alba stay until the end of the season so he can teach No Allen, then let him go. Okay, yeah, he was just offside. But still, that was still a good save by Winged. PSG's ball. Dude, Tadio Yande is so bad. He is so bad. He's terrible. MNB says, instead of Alba, they need a very good fast winger to give Messi someone to find with his elite link-up play. If Messi had a young striker or winger who was between 24 and 27, who was actually in their prime, there's no telling how many assists he would have, how many chances he would create, how many goals they would score. Keyshawn says, do you think Monterrey has a chance against Dortmund? I do think they have a chance. But the thing is that the CONCACAF teams are going to have to play a damn near perfect match. Oh my God, Segovia. Dude, I can't pass. He's so bad. So bad. Pumas fan says, no MLS club will qualify. Trust me, the only 3 can qualify because Cruz Azul already qualified. I mean, they have to start winning the Champions League, Champions Cup. Begotten says Cruz Azul took 1 spot. If Cruz Azul does a repeat, 1 MLS club is basically guaranteed. That's true. The runner-up qualifies. If Cruz Azul wins it again, the runner-up would, if it's an MLS team, would qualify for the Club World Cup. Cringe says, guys, can we push for Ansu Fati? Barcelona is looking to push him out. That would be interesting. But Brando says Fati's going to Monaco. Keyshawn says Fafa better than Segovia, man. He is, but dude, Baltasar Rodriguez is even better than both of them because he's young, fast, and I think he has a better chance of finishing. Francisco says Suárez fighting again. Dude, how many times is PSG going to flop? S27 says Santi Jimenez should go to Inter Miami. Dude, this is... Come on, dude. Are you serious? This is embarrassing. Devin Posey says MLS definitely needs to get rid of the salary cap. Obviously, they do. Begotten says Fati again. He says join Monaco. Pumas fan says Cruz Azul won't win it back to back. Pumas will win it back to back. So if Pumas win it back to back, then 27 runner up will qualify. We'll see. Not a good look. Yeah, I mean, dude, he barely touched him and he collapsed like he got, obliterated. Guys, we have 80 people in the chat, only 28 likes. We got 10 minutes to hit our 50 like count before halftime. And Favi joins us to let us know what he think his first half thoughts are. Smash the like button if you haven't already down below and subscribe to the channel. 450 subscribers away from hitting our 8,000 before the Club World Cup ends. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't already and hit that little bell notification so you never miss any of my videos or live stream watch-alongs or post-game recaps. We've been working extra time for the Club World Cup. We've been absolutely working extra time. I think we put out like 20 videos in the last 2-3 weeks. Jordan Hill says, then why are they persistent with the salary cap if it's crippling the quality of the league? They continuously claim that they want to be one of the top leagues in the world, but make it decisions against it. Well, because they want they're delusional. I mean, it's the only way I can describe it. They're delusional. They think that this is the way to making the league better incrementally instead of just, ripping the Band-Aid off. They don't want to just let, teams run wild with spending because they believe it will hurt the rest of the league and other teams who don't want to spend money. But here's the issue, or here's the I guess not even the issue. It's the great news for MLS. Oh my God, Busquets. Oh my God. Sergio Busquets needs to retire so bad. Is that João Neves again? Or did Fabian score? Okay, Fabian scored. Yeah. Yeah, Sergio Busquets is so washed, it's insane. Sergio Busquets is absolutely washed. TL says 2-0. Cringe says, oh boy, that's wild. Keegan says 2-0. Awful defending. So João Neves has a brace. João Neves has a brace. That's just so embarrassing. João Neves has never had a brace in his life. Just think about that. Mr. says, I can only assume there's too many cheapo owners. That there is. There's a lot of cheap owners, but I was going to make this point before João Neves scored his first brace of his career, is that MLS owners have nothing to lose with letting the spending increase because there's no pro rel. So if a team like Inter Miami or LAFC spend $200 million, right? What does a cheap team have to lose? They're not going to get relegated. They're not going to hell. There's teams in Major League Soccer right now who are never going to win the league. Oh my God. Fallon Redondo. Here's the thing, too, guys. Like I said, no one expected Inter Miami to win. And keep on, I did not expect them to win. I said that they were going to lose on penalties, which was still kind of delusional. But Inter Miami they're not even putting up a fight. It's one thing to lose if you try. It's another thing to lose if you're not trying and you're embarrassing yourself. I think Inter Miami is embarrassing themselves. But this just shows how Don Garber, when he makes a post about historic events for MLS, always is a jinx. It always is a jinx. He talked about the Vancouver Whitecaps making it to the CONCACAF Champions Cup final and how it was a historic day for the Vancouver Whitecaps and how they were going to make history that day. And then they end up losing 5-0 to Cruz Azul. The guy jinxes us. I mean, he's a curse. He's an absolute curse. Sam says Seattle did way better than Miami. They did. I cannot agree that. I can't disagree with that. Diet Fanta says, hello, MLS Moves. I'm currently at the gym. I burned 545 calories, and right now I'm burning 109 calories on this machine. I'm on, by the way, and I haven't ate sugar in 6 years. Okay, that's interesting. That's good for you, though. Keyshawn says, did we even get a shot off? I don't think they've had a shot all game. Albie says this game might force Messi to not come back. It could. I mean, listen, if Messi, I wish Messi would, he doesn't have the personality to do this, but I wish he would go to Jorge Mas and Don Garber and say, look, if you don't open spending in MLS, I'm out of here, dude. I'm leaving. I'm going to leave you during the World Cup year. I will leave. I'm done. I'll go back to Argentina. I'm not going to stay here unless you change something, because I could have a way better team than this. Every team in MLS could have a better team if you would just let them spend more. Boo-hoo. You got all these billionaires. I don't feel bad for them. They could easily spend. And the sympathizers, the people who apologize for the owners, you're spending other people's money. But we're spending money. We're paying. We're the consumers. We're what makes businesses, live and die. We do. We do have a say. He just fell down. That was not a foul. We should have a say in the quality and the spending and all that. So we should have a say. Because if we don't watch, it won't succeed. It won't live. It won't work. It won't grow. Rosie says, I guess we can now say the Sounders did better against PSG, because if Miami continues like this, it would be 5-0. I mean, they definitely looked better against PSG so far, but we'll see. There's still a lot of game left. TL says, well, PSG and Bayern Munich should be a fun match. Oh, my God. Yeah, he's offside, isn't he? No, Maxi Falcone kept him onside. Angus says many players are auditioning for Screen Actors Guild with their dramatic diving rolling on the pitch. CJ says Inter Miami team is hella slow. They're old. They're so old. They're so old. And even the young guys aren't that fast. Begotten says Pumas screwed Liga MX's dominance in CCL, losing to Saprissa in Seattle. By the way, guys, we got 3 minutes of added time, 45 minutes first half, plus 3 minutes of added time. We'll see what happens. Tony says MLS owners are too cheap to raise salary cap. They don't care about the quality of the game. They don't. Keyshawn says Modric going to be another old guy going to Miami. It's the last thing they need. S27 says, well, unfortunately, I think the New England Revolution and their owner are one of the teams holding back the league back, and it pains me to say that since I'm from New England. I mean, it's not just him. It's not just Bob Kraft. There's several people holding the league back. Egon says, João has scored 2 goals at Benfica. Has he, though? Because I saw he had 4 goals in his entire playing career at Benfica. And you're telling me one of those times was a brace? Jane the Man says Modric is going to Milan. Yeah, so it's not even going to happen. He's going to AC Milan. Chef Still says the MLS will always struggle to be a top league based on geography. The Euro Champions League is easily the highest standard competing in the world, so it's where all the best players want to play. Yeah, but like I've said, we've seen that the South American teams are very good too. And the goal is to see MLS combine with Copa Libertadores and Liga MX and hopefully play in a Champions League all together. Tony said it's because of money. You pay more, the players will go there. I mean, we've seen that with Saudi. This is embarrassing. Own goal, 5-0. Michael crying. That's all, folks. Avilés with the assist. Wayne Bender says this might get ugly. Pumas fan says, I'm not watching this match anymore. It's boring. Besides Monterrey, we'll make it way farther than this. JRR says, Messi don't care. Chef still says, I think your disappointment is unrealistic. This PSG side are easily amongst the best 3 sides in the world. Oh my God. Dude, I'm not going to lie to you. I kind of hope Inter Miami loses like 10-0 just because it's like the only way we can just show how much the spending needs to increase. And by the way, I just want to point this out just before anybody comes in here and hates on me. I never said Inter Miami could win this tournament. I have always said that a Brazilian team could win this tournament because they're very good and underrated. All right, it's officially halftime. It's 4-0 PSG. Worst possible start you could imagine for PSG. They actually, I will be honest with you, PSG have this game wrapped up. They might take pity on Inter Miami and just kind of not necessarily park the bus, but not really try put it in first gear in the second half. They've got this game wrapped up. Favi should be here in a minute. We'll get his second half thoughts. Okay, guys, we do this every halftime show. All right. I think I know what the overwhelming people are going to say, but we'll ask anyways. How would you rate Inter Miami's performance 1 through 10 in the first half against PSG? 1 being completely abysmal, worst performance ever, terrible. 10 being great, perfect, wouldn't change anything. 1 through 10, how would you rate Inter Miami's performance in the first half of this game against PSG? Oh, boy. TL says he's a -3. Rando says he's 0. Cringe is a 1. Keegan's a 0. Jordan Hill's a -100. Jellyfish is a 1. Diet Fanta is a 0. Haha is a 1. Charles is a 0. Adam is a -1. Mr. Mister's a 1. Cute Kenny's a 0. Navy is in -10. Keegan 0. -1 by Adam. 0.5 by Wanderer. S27 says 1. Tony says 1. I mean, this is embarrassing. This is honestly probably the most embarrassing performance I've seen by an MLS team. Maybe I wouldn't say ever because the Champions League final was really bad against Cruz Azul. But man, this is bad, guys. This is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. I'm actually making a tweet at Don Garber right now. '80s nostalgia guy with a $20 super chat says, could the USMNT A squad beat PSG? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There's no chance. No chance at all that could happen. We have Favi in here. By the way, I do appreciate the $20 super chat nostalgia. I really do appreciate you for stopping by. Guys, before I bring Favi in here, We are at 39 likes. We're 11 away from our 50. Let's try to hit 50 before the halftime. Before halftime's over. Oh, Favi.
Hey, what are you having for lunch? Because I don't even know what to talk about.
Well, listen, I want to get your first half thoughts. There's not much, but just what did you take away from that first half? Before you get into that, you know the rating score 1 through 10. What is Miami's performance in the first half?
One.
Okay. All right. Let me know what you think.
But all I hope is that MLS execs and MLS owners are watching this game. And that's all we can hope for, because Miami looks slow. Miami look completely outpaced. I mean, Miami looks completely shook. I mean, you know how Sam Darnold had that one quote saying, "I'm seeing ghosts out there." Miami's seeing ghosts. The wing play from PSG is just a different level. There's passes that Miami never have to deal with playing in CONCACAF, and they're hitting these passes cross field that are just insane, and that's given. I mean, the European champion, it's going to happen. I don't know. Toto Aviles is like, man, dude, how much they pay for this guy? Like $8 million. Guy's not even looking at the ball. Like, what's going on? Falcon. I mean, I think I can gladly say this: Noah Allen was the worst MLS player in this whole tournament.
Dang, you think he's the worst player in the whole tournament?
Out of MLS teams.
Noah Allen, worst player in the MLS tournament.
Or in the out of the MLS teams, because he fell asleep on that first goal again. I mean, every single game he's had an opportunity where he's like ruined it for his team, basically. Had 2 penalties, or basically the second one wasn't called, should have been called. I thought Noah Allen's – dude, I don't understand all the Miami fans that are saying if Noah Allen was playing, this would be better. I think Noah Allen had a really bad tournament. Of course, he's going to play at a different level in MLS. We saw it from last night in Seattle. I think Miami, LAFC, and Seattle are all gonna play better now in MLS play. But because they played in this tournament, they played against better people. So there's just like a little boost that goes to them. Like Seattle looked good last night. They were cutting apart Austin. But, man, I mean, what is there to talk about this game? I mean, we all knew this was going to happen. PSG looks like they actually want to play now. Like, they almost didn't look like they really cared in the group stage. And now they heard the headlines. They heard everything, the taglines. They wanted to do it. They did, and they did.
Well, I just want to point something out again, because I want you to touch on this. You and I talked about Europe being on fraud watch, which I still think they could be. But we never said Major League Soccer was the team that was going to.
Oh, yeah, no.
No, we're talking about Brazil. We're talking about the Brazilian clubs. But I will say this. I said this earlier in the chat, Favi, or in the stream. I'm not disappointed that Inter Miami are losing this game. I'm disappointed the way they're losing this game, because the effort just doesn't seem there. They look shook. They look old. They look slow. They look sloppy. And they look disinterested. Someone mentioned earlier, it looks like a cat with a mouse. That's what it looks like in this game.
Yeah, they look shook.
And I just want to say one more thing. I'm gonna let you have the floor. But like, losing is one thing, but losing with playing badly is another. Like, they're not playing. This is the worst game I have seen Inter Miami play in the Messi era.
Yeah, 100%.
By far.
The Vancouver one was bad too, though.
This is 4-0 in the first half.
Yeah.
This is definitely the worst one.
But the quality of the team, we have to. I mean, let's be honest. PSG won versus Inter Milan like 5-0, right? So again, This is the best team in the world right now, and they're doing it with a style of play that just pressures and pressures and pressures. Now, what I don't understand is if Miami's going to lose the ball in the back, why not try to be aggressive and try to get some passes forward? Oh, wait, you have Luis Suárez where he can't run after the ball. Like, in my opinion, Mascherano got this whole game plan wrong. I mean, I would have put some legs in the front. Like, maybe Messi just throws the ball forward or kicks the ball forward, and then they go try to get the ball, but they can't do that with Suárez, They're just losing the ball at the back, making it easier for PSG. But PSG is the best pressing team. Like, this is what they do. They're the champions of Europe. So I don't know. Am I going to watch the second half? Possibly. Am I going to go out and see the sunlight? possibly, like this is over. Hopefully Monterrey shows up better for CONCACAF, and that's what we can hope for too.
Yeah, this is just so bad. And, I mentioned this earlier. Someone, pressed me on this. I would love to challenge him to prove that this is incorrect. But João Neves, the midfielder, the Portuguese international midfielder for PSG, has never scored a brace at the club level. Dude has a brace in the first half.
Well, he was unmarked. He was unmarked. Noah Allen, that was his guy. He was unmarked.
But that's my point, though, is that they're playing so bad. A guy who's not a lethal scorer, he's not known to be a goal-scoring midfielder. He's not an attacking midfielder. He is having his way. He's got 2 goals in the first half.
So up until the 40th minute, it was 1-0. And I was like, you know what? Or 35th minute. I was like, you know what? Miami's not playing that bad. They gave up a bad goal on a set piece, which MLS teams are horrible at doing. For all of a sudden, I guess we need to just work on set pieces as MLS teams. Like, set pieces should be pretty routine. And it seems like Miami always has a problem with set pieces. Seattle had a problem with set pieces. And the same thing went for LAFC. Nobody could defend set pieces. And MLS had a good run in this tournament. It was fun. We all knew this was going to happen. It was going to be a miracle if Miami was going to beat PSG, especially with all the drama and everything, Messi playing his former team and all the headlines, all the newspapers in Europe. Like, this finally got the traction a game deserves, and they got the best of PSG. And they're just toying with their food right now, like a cat and mouse. Exactly it.
Yeah, but here's the thing, too. Like, we saw Seattle only lose 2-0. Right?
But were they playing, though? Was PSG actually trying? That's the thing. Miami always gets the best out of everybody because of the people that they have, and they're getting the best of PSG.
Yeah, I'm not saying that PSG are playing. They played as hard in that game as they are playing now, but I'm just saying 2-0. Inter Miami has a more talented team than Seattle. They only gave up 2 goals. I think they do, man. They do. I'm not saying that they couldn't obviously make additions, because they could, right? There's holes on this team for sure, but they don't have a Messi. They don't have a Suárez. They don't have I'm not even going to say Busquets. Busquets is, dude, he should retire tomorrow. He is done. I said this in the game against Palmeiras. It was his fault they lost that game because he was so slow to react on that rebound and the second goal they conceded. He is beyond washed. He is done, finito, finished.
Yeah, Franco Panizo was saying that he did a report where basically they haven't talked to Busquets about re-signing him, because at $8 million, man, if he was alone on an island, like if he was a DP on another team, that would be such a big flop. But because he's on Miami and he plays with Messi and they've won some things, he's not a flop. But man, oh man, has he fallen off in terms of quality as well. At this point, I'm thinking, man, just put Yannick Bright and Redondo in the midfield, Kermaski somewhere so he can run at people. I don't know. You need to have pace to beat a team like this. And Miami's not good enough as a passing team to even think about playing out the back. That was my whole thing. Is like, man, you really believe that you're going to play out the back against the best pressuring team in all of the world? Like, what are you thinking? They should have just started every single – like, Suárez should not have started this game. Like, Suárez adds you nothing. Allende looks horrible. Allende looks horrible once again. I don't know. Jordi Alba playing, yes, that helps, a little calm in the back line. But if Jordi Alba is going to be your best offensive piece and then he has to defend, like, we have to find another way. I think Miami's too predictable. Everybody watches Miami. They all know that they want to give the ball to Jordi Alba and look for Messi at the top of the box and use his left foot to get a goal. Like, it's like so obvious that that's what Miami wants to do every time.
They're a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
They're a one-trick pony. But, guys, I want to ask you a question real quick, and I'm going to get Favi's opinion on this. Do you believe that Don Garber, the commissioner of MLS, is the most to blame for MLS's struggles in international tournaments? This is not just this tournament. Like I said earlier, the MLS, the MLS representative in the CONCACAF Champions Cup, which is our Champions League final, lost to Cruz Azul 5-0. They didn't even have a shot in the entire match. Who is the most to blame for MLS's struggles in this league not taking the leaps it needs to take? Is it Don Garber? Is it someone else? Let me know in the comment section, but you guys already know who I think it's going to be. And I'm just going to go ahead and give you guys just a peek into the future here. I'm going to make a post-game recap after this, but I'm also going to drop a video probably Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday talking about MLS's conservative ideas and why this league is being held back and they're getting embarrassed on the global stage. The owners will, Mr. Mitchell says Don Garber.
The owners a little bit more than the commissioner, because the commissioner can only do so much, in my opinion. It's the owners. It's the owners that are still a part of the old guard that don't think soccer, in my opinion, and this is going to be something that I've always thought. But if you're an NFL owner, you're not going to want MLS to grow as much as possible. Because I think the only way the NFL falls is if soccer takes off like the number one sport. And I think if you have like the old guard owners, like the Revs owner, he owns the Patriots. Well, Fisher is going to be on his way out, but those type of ownership groups, they're stuck to the old guard, and they don't believe soccer can withstand the type of influx in cash that they want to really, like the Jorge Masses and Will Ferrell's and LAFC, like they want to give these teams a lot more money because their valuations are really high. And I almost want to say their valuations are a little too high because we're just gaining, fake money instead of truly living up to the expectations that soccer can be the number one sport. It needs more money in it. Like, this is embarrassing. I feel so bad for all the MLS or Miami fans that went to go see this game and paid their money to see this game. That should be what embarrasses MLS owners today. The fans that went to go see this abomination. But it's not going to.
Well, let me just say this real quick. In the second half is about to start here in a minute. Let me just say this real quick, Favi. I think that the reason why Don Garber deserves most of the blame is because he's been the commissioner for longer than 80% of the owners in this league have owned their team. He's been here since 1999, 26 years. He has been integral in the league's growth and what the plan has been. People need to realize that the league almost folded 26 years ago several times. They went to Don Garber and says, okay, the league is in your hands. You tell us what to do. We trust you. You help this league stay afloat. We completely trust you. You make the rules. You make the decisions. We will have our faith in you. And a commissioner obviously is the representative for all 30 owners. He's their guy. He's the one who got voted in. His job is to advise the owners what is the best method to go forward for the league, what to do rules-wise, expansion team-wise, stadium-wise, all this stuff. He is the one advising them. He tells them. The reason why I blame Don Garber most is because when the fourth DP rule was suggested, when the salary increase rule or salary increase proposal was suggested, he said, no, we don't have to do that. Owners, don't vote on this. It doesn't matter. It's all good. Keep trusting the plan. It's working. He told the owners, he said, don't do it. Keep doing what you're doing. It's fine. It works. That's the problem. Because even if the owners vote, right? Because they do vote. If it was split 15-15 on decision of to increase the salary, by the way, guys, the second half just started. Not that it really matters at this point. But if it was 15-15 split decision on if they change the rules, he influenced the owners who said yes to change their vote. He said, don't change anything. Trust the plan. It's working. So that's why I blame him for this. His influence cannot be underestimated. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And look, I know owners have to vote, but he is influencing what they do. And Jorge Mas, how many times have me and you heard Jorge Mas say he wants to spend money? He wants to improve the league. He said, money is no object. I will spend what I need to spend to make my team the best team in the world.
What I don't understand is, like, why doesn't an owner come out then? Why hasn't Jorge Mas just said, call these people out?
Well, he has, in a sense. He said that I want to spend more, and there's some that don't. He has, he said more than most owners would say. And also, too, Fabi, another point, how many times in the last couple of years have we heard coaches speak out against suspending rules?
Yeah. No, Busquets did literally a week ago.
Well,
But
Busquets, yeah.
is cooked. No, it's interesting. But I'm going to go enjoy my Sunday. If you guys are sad, definitely go enjoy, touch some grass. Is all gonna pass over. Thank you for having me on, Will.
Yeah, Favi, appreciate it. Make sure you check him on X and Twitter at Favi and Rankel. He writes good articles for Urban Pitch, and he's also a special guest to the show. You've seen him several times. Make sure you check him out. Favi, go enjoy your Sunday. Hopefully it's better than this. I mean, anything would be better than this.
Yeah, honestly, I'll be watching on my phone, but get some sun. Enjoy your summer days, guys.
We'll try. Appreciate it, my friend.
Hey, you guys. Take care.
See you, man. All right, guys. Appreciate Favi for stopping by. He's always a pleasure to talk to. Mr. says, I think the owners deserve a fair share of the blame, but ultimately Garber needs to make the decisions. And look, like I said, in the whole, rant, whatever you want to call it, is, and there will be more of those, by the way. He is telling owners, advising them, and he could be changing some of their minds. He could be the deciding factor. And do we change this? Do we not change this? Is the plan working? Now, has MLS improved over the last, 10, 20 years? Of course it has. It's one of the better leagues in the world. It's top 10. I've said that. But it could be so much better. It could be so much better than what it is. I mean, this is an embarrassing performance, and every fan of Inter Miami should be, ashamed. They should be sad that their team is performing like this. This is not good enough. And what Favi said is true. Noah Allen has been the worst center back, not a center back, the worst player for MLS in the whole tournament. Well, hey, listen, it's not all negative. Look, we've had, regardless of how this game turns out, and it's not turning out well, we've had an incredible time just covering the whole tournament with you guys. It's been fun. The group stage, the one team to make it to the knockout round. I mean, honestly, a lot of people didn't even think a single MLS team would make it to the knockout round. So the fact that we had one, now they did expose how bad MLS is and, compared to the top teams in the world, but we had a fun time covering this. It was very fun. Cringe says Suárez just missed the only goal. PSG and Man City look scary. Okay, here's another thing too. Flamengo, the next game against Bayern Munich, that is going to tell me if a non-European team really has a chance. If Flamengo beats Bayern Munich, I think they have a real chance. And Magic Mike just brought up a good point. I think that we need to talk about is he says I feel bad for Messi. Think about when Ronaldo went to Al Nassr and they just bought as many quality players as they possibly could to help him out, right? Inter Miami did not and could not do that because they only have 3 DPs. They brought in all the old heads, Busquets, Alba, Suárez. They brought in all the old heads. They didn't save, but they did that because they wanted Messi to come sign with Inter Miami. They wanted to bring his friends to make the transition as comfortable and as seamless as it possibly could be. But the problem is when you use a roster spot like that, it eliminates the possibility of bringing in a quality player because that's the only way you can sign them is with a DP deal. So they just don't have any, they really just don't have any talent, like any quality talent. They have some decent players, but when we're comparing it on the global stage, they're not good. They're just not good. That was a good pass from Messi to Alba, but there's not going to be anybody. There's not anybody who can, on the other side, even come close to finishing that. Nobody. Tadia Yande is not going to. Suárez, hell, he was in the midfield when Alba was breaking down the left side because he's so slow. He never had a chance. This team is they just don't have it. And keep in mind, this is what's considered a premier team in Major League Soccer, Inter Miami. And you can just see the difference in the top teams. Was Segovia offside? And Slosko Scovia has been terrible today, too. There literally hasn't been a single player for Inter Miami that's been good, if we're being honest. Not a single player. Not a single player. Maybe it was Starry a little bit in the beginning. I mean, Luis Suárez is so effing cooked. It's insane. Like, half the team is cooked. They're done. They're way. I mean, not that there was a question they were in their prime, but they're way, way, way past their prime. Way past their prime. Guys, if you're just joining us, we got 132 of you in the chat, sadly watching one of the worst MLS games of all time. The worst game in Inter Miami history, honestly. We're watching it together. Sadly, this is a sad watch along at this point. Make sure you like the stream down below. We're at 45 likes. Let's try to hit 60 in the next couple minutes. I know we can hit 60. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're trying to hit 8K by the end of the Club World Cup. We're 5 away from 450. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. There will be a post-game recap where I'm absolutely torching Inter Miami, absolutely torching MLS, absolutely torching Don Garber. You're not going to want to miss that post-game recap. You're not going to want to miss that. Magic Mike says, talk about Mascherano, man. It's criminal to even hire him. He has been bad, but he had a run of decent games, and he did get him out of the group stage. But yeah, I mean, I can't really get mad at Javier Mascherano for being not as good of a coach as maybe we thought he could have been when he really doesn't even have the players. He doesn't have the players. I mean, who does he have? The old guys. He's coaching, the Barcelona senior team. I mean, there's 3 guys that shouldn't even be on the pitch right now. S27 says it will, if MLS had an open system, massively expanded the salary cap, your favorite team, LAFC, would dominate and become a legit super club in the Americas. My favorite team? I don't have a favorite team. I don't support any team. Just support the league's growth. Does Inter Miami even score a pity goal at this point? PSG fan says, blame the owners that want to sign Messi, old friends instead of young players. I mean, yeah, but that's I mean, Jorge Mas definitely did that because he wanted to sign Messi. But by the way, who do you think convinced the MLS owners to pay Messi? Who do you think convinced Don Garber convinced the NFL or the MLS owners to help pay Messi's salary? He convinced them to do this. He convinced them to give him a share in the Apple TV revenue, which isn't much, but still, he convinced the owners to sign Messi and to pay him collectively. Wanderer says Mascherano was also Messi's pick, just like the old players he got on the squad. And I think the thing is, Messi obviously isn't, he doesn't understand the rules very well because he's not from here. He doesn't understand all the MLS. Most people don't understand the MLS mechanisms. He probably didn't realize if they sign his friends that they can't sign anyone else, that they're using these valuable spots for his friends. So when they did sign his friends to make him happy, they didn't have any resources left to improve the squad. So that's just unfortunate circumstances. Andrew says, was bringing Messi to MLS a success? As of right now, no. No, it wasn't. Maswig says, for a newly created team, they actually did pretty well. Hell, if Inter Milan got by PSG, Miami had it harder. Yeah, I mean they definitely are. I mean, come on, let's be honest. We don't need to be coping here. I mean, they definitely Inter Milan, Inter Miami. It is funny. That's actually a funny joke. Diet Fantasy says, in general, soccer in this country is just getting hold back. So many things, and also fact that we lack accountability. I wish we had accountability in the sport. Yeah, I mean, look, a perfect example. By the way, good save by Ustari, the best player for Inter Miami in the entire tournament. The Galaxy just won the league. They just won the league in 2020. Or excuse me, 2024, they won the league. They won MLS. This season through 20 games, they have 9 points. They have one win. They have one win through 20 matches in Major League Soccer, and their coach got an extension, guys. If you don't watch MLS, think about that. The coach for LA Galaxy, who just won, they're the defending champions of Major League Soccer, have one win through 20 matches, 9 points through 20 matches, and their coach got an extension. That would never happen in any other league in the world. Never would happen. Would never happen. Would never happen. So there's just no accountability. Everybody's just kind of cool with mediocrity. And we will be making a video about this soon. We will. Mr. says the Porto manager is being replaced for not getting out of the group. See, I mean, and some people were saying this tournament didn't even matter. They're going to fire their manager because he didn't get out of the group. That's accountability. They just don't even have a chance. 80s Nostalgia Guy says parity in MLS equals all clubs are equally mediocre. Exactly. That's the truth. It's not NFL parity where there's several good teams. It's let's make all the teams bad so that we don't know who's going to win it. LA Galaxy shouldn't be in last place the entire league. They shouldn't be. Jay says Busquets has got to go. He literally needs to retire tomorrow. Tomorrow. This should be his last game he ever plays for Miami. Sergio Busquets makes $9 million a year from Inter Miami. $9 million a year. He's not even remotely close to that salary. Being worth that salary. He's not. Diet Fanta says, and Dembele's not even playing. Dembele didn't even play in this game, and they still coasted by. Dembele's in the running for the Ballon d'Or. Diet Fanta says, I most certainly agree. Like if Greg Vanny, he was coaching in Mexico, he would get criticism from the fans, and that guy would be out of a job and disappear into thin air really quickly. I agree. Andrew says Sounders should fire their GM for sure. Yeah, Craig Weibel sucks. I mean, he's not good. He's not good. Wanderer says the problem is that most MLS coaches move around in the league and don't get kicked out for a better job or a better coach. The owners don't know ball. Yes, they recycle bad coaches, and there's a reason for that. I can't go into detail, but there is a reason why they do that. There is a reason they do that. 80s Nostalgia Guy says, when Vanny got a contract extension, that's when you realized MLS is a joke. Exactly. That was like, are you kidding me? You guys he's getting rewarded for being bad? Francisco says, Dembélé in, now they're getting serious. Cringe says, bro, they're bringing in Dembélé. Yeah, it's not good. Will, do you know the Apple TV viewer numbers look like for this year? I heard they aren't good. Yeah, I've heard some games don't even have like 2,000 views. Rosie Bell says 10-0. Here it comes. TL says, I thought he wouldn't play in the Club World Cup at all. Cute Kenny says, LA Galaxy players like Vanny as a coach don't know why. That shouldn't matter. They're not the owners. This is not their team. They just play for the team. This is their job. This is their job. So they should not have a say on if the bad coach stays or not. Rando says, Serie A taking each other's coaches is mad. Mr. says they should have never put the league behind a paywall. Oh, trust me, I'm posting about this as we speak. That's another blemish on his career. He convinced the owners. That they needed to switch to Apple, and it was the future, and it was going to help the league grow. And putting it behind the paywall is the worst thing that could ever happen to it. It's the worst thing that could ever happen to the league. Rando says, what a shot on goal. Jay says, sure, they beat Atletico 4-0, but they also only beat Seattle 2-0. This is pathetic. And like I said, it's not even about them losing. I understand that they were going to probably lose this game. It's just the manner that they're losing this match. You gonna score again? Jace Collins says, if you put the league behind a paywall, it has to be ESPN Plus, what they had, or Paramount Plus. That was a nice pass from Messi to Tadio Yande. Can Inter Miami even score a goal in this match? Probably not. Keyshawn says Miami need to make subs. They do, but they're just so bad. Mr. says it should be on Netflix and free to watch. At this point, they need as many eyeballs. I made a video about that. I'm sure you remember this, but Netflix would be a great, if you're going to go to all streaming, Netflix would be perfect. Netflix would be perfect. Keyshawn Allende, WTF. Hello says, or YouTube. I mean, yeah, YouTube wouldn't be a bad spot. I think YouTube TV. I mean, a lot of people have YouTube TV. Maybe offer something like free games on YouTube TV. Maybe pay a subscription, have all games, because you obviously can't give every game for free. But it's like every game is on Apple TV. Nobody's watching it on Fox. They don't promote it at all. You know, none of the good games are on Fox. JR says, how is MLS even allowed to be in the Club World Cup? I mean, you know, they did make it out the group stage, but it's not good enough. I agree. Frank says they destroyed Milan, a team 100 times better than Miami. What did you expect? No, I agree that they destroyed Inter Milan, but you know, Miami just don't even look good. I understand that PSG is a better team. No one's disputing that. It's just the manner of how I've watched Inter Miami play the entire tournament. I've watched them play the entire group stage. I've watched them play every game this season. This is the worst performance they've had. They don't look good. This is not normal Miami. This is a bad playing Miami right now. This is the Miami that had the slump after the CONCACAF Champions Cup where they lost like 4 or 5 matches in a row. This is that Miami. This is that Miami. They haven't even, what, they have like one shot on goal? 80s nostalgia guy says we should just combine our league with Liga MX and get rid of the salary caps and call it Liga MLS. I mean, there's been talks about that, about them combining leagues. As we still have 20 minutes left. JR says should have given the spots to Liga MX. I mean, they would have probably performed better. K Plum says, why do we want MLS to be bigger than the Premier League? That's the real question. What's wrong with the Premier League? Great teams, history, fantastic. I mean, I don't necessarily think I want it to be as good. I mean, what's bad with competition? Competition brings out the best in everyone. Diogo says, I'm watching the game on YouTube for free. Mr. says, yeah, YouTube TV is a good shout. The J League International channel streams games on YouTube. I mean, a lot of people have YouTube TV and YouTube. I mean, that's honestly that would have been the outward thinking, futuristic approach, not Apple TV, the least popular streaming service there is. Heisen says, I don't think Inter Miami would have gotten out of the group stage if Sporting Lisbon was in the group instead of Porto. I mean, maybe they would have. Inter Miami should have beaten Palmeiras. They were up 2-0 the first half, and then they literally have not played a good half of ball since then. Like the first half of that game was the last good half they played of soccer. TL says you should always prefer your domestic league over a foreign one. Yeah, I mean, I do. Yeah, I mean, obviously. Keyshawn says maybe Miami should go to Werner or a player who still has legs in him. Here's the problem, though. Because Inter Miami just signed Jordi Alba to a DP deal, they don't have a DP spot open anymore. They would need Sergio Busquets to retire right now to open up a DP spot. I don't know if he's going to do that. Edgar says Inter Miami shouldn't be in this tournament. They didn't earn it. What we're watching is justice being served. I mean, they made it out of their group stage. I mean, you can't say they beat. This is the first game they've lost all tournament. Jonathan Miranda says MLS cannot outgrow other sports leagues in this country. They would go absolutely nuts. CJ says, bro, I have to admit, what a player Ventinha is. He dominates completely this PSG midfield. Yeah, Vitinha is good. I mean, everybody's been good for. I'm hard pressed to find a player who's been bad for PSG today. If we're being honest, like who could you honestly say has been bad for PSG today? Who's been bad for him? Kenny says Miami got cocky. Cringe says the American market will spend more money in sports. The total amount of merch and ticket prices across teams is higher than the EPL. They just need to win over the US market. Yeah, there's plenty of fans in the US who love soccer, who love football. You know, they're ready for it. They're being held back by Don Garber. See if Doué can score. I think they have another one in them. I think PSG is going to score another goal. 80s nostalgia guy says, well, Jonathan Rand, sorry, let me read this question. I mean, if you don't want MLS to grow, what you do? What would you do? What would I do? Or what are you talking about from an owner's perspective? 80s nostalgia guy says we need Elon Musk to buy Barcelona and bring the team to New York. I mean, Barcelona is not for sale. They're city-owned team. No one's business says so many better examples this season, though, in MLS, like FC, Cincinnati, and Philly. Look, they wouldn't do any better. They would not do any better in this game. You can't have 3 good players and expect to win a tournament like this. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Here's the thing. Let's just talk hypothetically. Let's say MLS has 5 really good players on their team. I'm being generous there. 5 good, or let's say 4 good players, right? The Brazilian team has probably 7 to 8. Okay? 7 to 8. So they could theoretically beat a team with 7 to 8 because the gap is closer. But Europe has 11 great players, maybe more. So Brazil is able to fight Europe because they have more good players. Not as many as them, but more to give them a fighting chance. MLS, the gap is too significant for them to have a chance of beating a European giant. You can't beat a team with 11 great players when you have 4. Brazil can because they have 8. It's possible. It's possible. Mr. says PSG are just going easy in the second half. They're on cruise control. They're on cruise control. Benjamin Kramaski coming in for Talasco Segovia should have happened 20 minutes ago, but Javier Mascherano with the great substitutions. Andrew says, why do I feel like MLS is just going to spin this as an Inter Miami just had a bad half, especially if PSG doesn't score in the second half? They're coping. They're coping. They're coping. I'm telling you guys, we're gonna have an honest conversation after this game in the post game recap about what we saw today. Who's to blame? How it happened? Jonathan Miranda says, if you were the commissioner and you didn't want the league to grow, what things would you do to make sure that it doesn't grow? Salary cap, limited spending, 3 DP spots, media deal on Apple TV, the current calendar, because it, puts you at a disadvantage. Pretty much anything that Don Garber does, I would do the opposite of. Will you stream the Bayern game today? Probably not. I got to make this post-game recap. I'm going to watch. I think it starts at 5 o'clock Eastern time, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not going to stream it. I might stream another game. Because I definitely want to see a South American team win it, or maybe even, Monterrey. But I'm not going to probably do any more live streams for the Club World Cup. I might do one more. It just depends. If Flamengo beats Bayern Munich, maybe I will. Maybe I will then. Mr. Mister says if this was on an English club, their fans would be screaming, spend some effing money. Yeah, exactly. Our soccer culture couldn't handle European soccer pressure, South American soccer pressure, hell, even Liga MX soccer pressure. We couldn't handle it. We want a soft, don't ask any questions, how dare you criticize me culture. And it's embarrassing. It's truly embarrassing. This type of performance is all-time bad. Navy says Monterrey will beat Dortmund. I hope they do. Katie Brand says this is what happens when the American dollar take over MLS because Chimichanga Cups versus Liga MX at home, that doesn't help. Are you talking about Leagues Cup? Asian Nostalgia Guy says MLS is so bad compared to other leagues. Even an MLS All-Star team would be losing right now. They would. They would. Honestly, the MLS All-Star game does more damage to MLS than good. That's why they switched it to Liga MX All-Stars. It's done nothing to help the league. Diet Fantana says, and also the problem with MLS as well is not prioritizing the Open Cup like they have. No respect for the Open Cup, the oldest tournament for a tournament because they want the green. Diogo says, or Mr. Mister, they would be singing how bad PSG is for only being up 4-0. Andrew says, there can one stream Brazilian soccer? Do you know? Where can one stream Brazilian soccer do? I honestly, I'm not sure. I'm not sure where you can like watch regular season Brazilian matches. Mr. Mister says, honestly, I still think LAC versus Tunis was worse. At least PSG are good. Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about that soon. There will definitely be a video in the works talking about if the Club World Cup did good or better for MLS. No one says, in terms of money, I think MLS teams have the same amount as the Brazilian teams. I think that they probably have more money. Like as far as what they could spend, they probably have more money. They choose not to do it though. Jaden the Man says you should have another conversation with Danny from Battered Herons on the salary cap and his Open Cup again. Need to hear his thoughts post Club World Cup. Rando says, respect to Ustari, this game would be 8 or 12 with Calendar and goal. Yeah, Calendar was terrible. Drake Calendar is so bad. Katie says, F CONCACAF, it's time MLS moves to CONMEBOL. Thanu says, PSG versus Man City will play in the final. I think that Man City's probably the best team in this tournament. Probably. But TL says, I think one of Palmeiras and Flamengo have more money than MLS, but Brazilian teams tend to have access to better homegrown and across-the-border talent. They're also just so much better at developing players than we are, like so much better. By the way, God forbid there's any added time. There does not need to be any added time to this game whatsoever. Whatsoever. Do you think that PSG's backups, they're not their starting 11, their entire backup starting 11 or entire backup 11, right? Could be Inter Miami. Do you think their entire backups. Their backup 11 could beat Inter Miami. Cringe says yes, no added time. Call it the minute it hits 90 for sure. I mean, this isn't a hate watch, a love watch. This is a sad watch. Thanos says he thinks they could. Hello says he thinks they could. Chad says yes, they could. I mean, it's hard to argue that they couldn't after what we've seen. I mean, they had guys like if João Neves is scoring a brace on you in the first half, you've got some issues. Andrew says he thinks they probably would. Kyle says top Brazilian teams have 10 times the roster spend compared to MLS due to salary cap. No, that the question wasn't is the team worth more. It's more did the owners have more money? Do the owners have more money in Brazil than in MLS? Miami has no legs. Brian says can't have Busquets as a DP who doesn't score. I mean, you can't. It's literally counterintuitive to have a designated player who can't score you goals or contribute to goals. He does nothing for you. Keyshawn says only one sub this game, barring injury. I mean, they had Kremaski and Noah Allen come out in this game. They had 2 subs. Obviously, have 3 left, and they haven't done anything else. Piero says the constant passing back to the keeper is frustrating to watch. Are you talking about the build-up play, the back play by Inter Miami? The build from the back? Jonathan Miranda says academy team probably would. They'd be hungry to embarrass these old heads. Mr. says, I've got a gut feeling Real Madrid will win the Club World Cup. It's Real Madrid, maybe living in Europe. I've just have PTSD from seeing them win, always winning things. Yeah, I mean, they seem like even when they're not having a good season that they still find a way to do it in the Champions League. But I will say this. I do think it's, adjusting to Xabi Alonso might take a little bit. So I don't think they're guaranteed to win it. I said this earlier, but I think Man City is probably the scariest European team of them all. Like they look really good right now. They brought in all those reinforcements. I think Pep has found his fire and desire again. Like, he's hungry to prove himself. So we'll see. Andrew says the Sounders have 2 DPs that don't score. And that's why they're not as good as they could be. If we're being honest, they might have 3 DPs who can't score. Let's see. Ulysses says the Club World Cup is just exposed more faults of the MLS. It will be interesting to see how much or how little, if at all, MLS teams improve in the next Club World Cup. I wouldn't bet on it being significant changes. I wouldn't bet on it being a huge, drastic improvement, honestly. Jose says MLS teams are garbage. MLS is not even a competitive league. I mean, it's definitely a competitive league. It's just, top teams aren't that much better than the bottom teams. Rando says Manchester City looks more likely to win it. Man City versus Miami would be 6-7, maybe even 8-0. Real Madrid are the Thanos of the Champions League. They really are. Andrew says, come on, Messi, free goal. Look at Jordi Alba run, dude. His head's up like he's running for his life. He's running for his life. You can just tell he just doesn't have that speed anymore. I mean, he is 36. How often does a left back survive at 36 years old and be that same quality of what we've seen in the past? And then we have to watch the USMNT play tonight and probably break our hearts with that too. Jose says, imagine if Mbappe was playing. I mean, Mbappe really, he's kind of underwhelmed at Madrid. I'm not a huge Mbappe guy. I think Doué is better. I think he will be better. I know it's not the same position, but I think he will have a better career than Mbappe when it's all said and done. And he will probably win. It's going to be Doué and Lamine Yamal who will be battling each other for Ballon d'Ors, in my opinion. Could be wrong about that, but that's just what I think. Jose says Messi is literally a waste of money for MLS. Diogo says the owners have more money, but the salary cap make the fact irrelevant. Bringing the bringing the reality of teams to a level below the 14th in spending in Brazil, Santos. Jonathan says only way for them to increase spending was if all three got completely and utterly embarrassed, which is what I was hoping for, just because I want these guys to spend more, but they probably did just enough to keep things the same. That's fair. They probably did. They think everything's good. They got out of the group stage. They think everything's fine. Messi free kick. Even if he makes it, I mean, what does it matter at this point? What does it matter at this point? There's not going to be a celebration. If he makes it, it's a pity goal at this point. We'll see what happens. They better not add time, because how long this is taking. They better not add any time. And the wall blocks it. Messi free goal. Diet Fanta says, I definitely agree. Also, who knows if the USMT score against Keylor Navas, which would easily be our starting goalkeeper right now. Who knows if they can score against him? Yeah, probably not. Not Patrick Ajimong. He's definitely not scoring against him. MLS would get to shit post about the goal. Oh, about the Messi free kick. Jellyfish says all the drama for nothing. Jose says American sports are hype with fake numbers. Hype with fake numbers. What do you mean? Chad Master says, yeah, MLS will use Inter Miami getting out of the group to continue playing. Yeah, they're playing Moneyball. They're the Moneyball League. Jacob Thompson says, why did they take Miami's goal away? It was offside, right? Give Miami credit. At least they are still fighting, and compare the value of the teams. MLS can compete against mid-level European, but not the best. I mean, I don't know. I think that they didn't even try half this game. Full time? Let's see. See if it's full time. I think they'll give them this corner, and they'll probably blow the whistle. Probably blow the whistle after this. 2 minutes added time? Oh, my God. Dembélé couldn't save it. 80s Nostalgia guy says, even Roldan played better than Messi. Probably. Jonathan Miranda says, give Miami the still fighting trophy. Donut Man says, 2 minutes for what? Just to make her life a living hell, honestly. Eric Stahl says, are you watching the Gold Cup? Yeah, I'll be watching the Gold Cup. I've been watching the Gold Cup. I've been, the USMNT for sure. Jellyfish says, in the match, it's over. Why the 4 minutes? Just to make our life, it's 2 minutes to make our life a living hell. Jay the Man says, Roldan doesn't immediately get locked down by 4 players when he gets the ball. True. That's true. Nobody is trying to take Christian Roldan out of the match and eliminate him.
I think both of Bobo's defensive rotations were probably the most fascinating. We were having a conversation with DJ Callahan, who joined us for a little bit, coach of Nashville SC, formerly
just terrible.
We were having the conversation about how interesting it was, and at times confusing for PSG with how to deal with it. But again, they still dominated every facet.
Jacob says, plus 3.5, I need a singular goal.
35th minute or so. And it's like a death by 1,000 paper cuts when you play against PSG.
Diogo says, Youth development has to improve the USDPs plus increase salary cap for the team as a whole. I mean, there's a lot that has to improve to see the jump. There has to be a lot to improve the jump for Major League Soccer. We got 8 seconds left, 5 seconds left, 4, 3, 2, game over. Inter Miami get embarrassed 4-0 to PSG. Worst performance, I think, in the entire Club World Cup, maybe outside of Tunis and LAFC. Guys, I appreciate you for stopping by and the sad watch of the Inter Miami versus PSG game. Terrible game. Inter Miami got embarrassed, exposed. João Neves was the best player on the pitch today. Who would have thought they'd lose 4-0 with that, with that narrative, João Neves being the best player on the pitch for PSG. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in with me. Appreciate you guys for supporting me through this Club World Cup. It's been very fun. There's still more to come. Make sure you like the stream. Be on the lookout for the post-game recap, which will be out in the next 30 to 35 minutes. Honest conversation will be had. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Close to 8,000 subscribers. Need your help to get there. We will get there by the end of the Club World Cup and Gold Cup. Make sure you subscribe. Hit the little bell notification so you never miss a video. Guys, until next time, I will see you all soon.